In this video, I'm going to teach you the key to finding and hiring the right team members for your business. Let's get started. Welcome back to another video. My name is Peyton Smith, and before we dive in, I want you to comment down below how many individuals you have hired already on your team, or if you have yet to hire anybody, when are you planning to hire your first? Now, there are a lot of things that go into finding good people to hire. And what I'm going to tell you first before anything else is hiring the wrong people could cost you a lot of money, a lot of stress, a lot of frustration. And so it's important that you find and hire the right people. So in this video, I'm going to break down 6 steps that you should go through in order to make sure that you are hiring the right people to help grow and scale your business and make your life better. So the first thing is you need to be prepared to pay for good people. This is one of the wisest pieces of advice that I got from a good friend when I asked about hiring. Is he said, never go cheap when it comes to people. And I found that this is very true. A lot of times, especially as like freelancers or solopreneurs, we are so concerned about our margins and how much money we're taking home that we try to go cheap with other people on our team. And by doing this, you're either going to find crappy people or you're going to find good people that are undervalued or feel undervalued and underappreciated, and so they're not going to perform to the best of their ability. And so make sure that you come ready to pay a higher price for good people, because this will pay off in the long run. Now, what I found is when it comes to paying for people, if you try to cheap out on this, you're going to get a bunch of team members that can't really follow anything through, or that you don't trust to follow anything through, and you're going to end up doing everything on your own anyways. And so pay the higher rate, get the better people, and you'll be glad that you did. Number 2 is hire from a community that you know. Now, this is really important because you want to find the right people that are going to fit your vision, that are going to be easy for you to communicate, that share at least somewhat your same values. And now I want to be really careful when I talk about this, because obviously we don't want to discriminate when we're hiring other people. But when you're a small operation, you need to make sure that you're hiring people that share that same vision. And so when I say hire within your community, I don't mean your local community, and I don't mean somebody that looks like you or has the same values or beliefs as you. But what I mean is you should hire somebody that understands your world. And so for me, when I was looking for people to hire, I worked within my Facebook group, because these were individuals that not only had the same types of expertise that I was looking for, but they were individuals that understood freelancing and understood working with clients, and they understood the specific tools that I was already using. And so by pulling people from that community, it made it much, much easier to fit them into my process. Now, I know a lot of people that like to hire within their local community because they can have that face-to-face personal interaction with them. And so if that's what fits for you, definitely do that. But the last thing you want to do is hire somebody that has no connection to you, doesn't share any of your same vision or ideas, or the expertise that you need, because this is going to be much more difficult to onboard them and get them to a place where they can kind of be the other half of your brain and really push and think through problems and move your business forward. The third thing that I'm really grateful that I did is hiring a specialist. Now, early on, I had this idea that I could just hire like a secretary or an assistant, and they would cover all of the busy work for me. And while this is a really good idea, and I now currently have a project manager that is incredible, but I found that there's so much value in hiring a specialist, because these are the types of people that are going to be able to take an entire chunk of your business and do it all on their own. And so what I did in my case is I run an SEO and web design agency, and so I hired a really, really good designer that could manage all of these design projects, everything from design to development to working with clients. And I'm grateful that I did, because by hiring that specialist, I can rest easy knowing that when he is managing and dealing and executing those projects, everything is getting done properly. Now, had I just hired somebody that had like a bunch of different random skills, I feel like they would have helped with a lot of different tasks, but I probably would have had to come in at the end of all those tasks and at least put my hands on them a little bit, because I didn't truly trust that they were an expert at this thing and they could do it all on their own. So hiring an expert is going to basically take a chunk of your business and pass it off to somebody that can do either just as good of a job as you, or in my case, a much better job. And so hire a specialist as your first hire. And when you're thinking about what type of specialist to hire, you need to determine what is the work that you either dislike the most, or the one that's the most time consuming, or what's the one that maybe you struggle the most with. And that's probably going to be your best first hire, to find somebody that can come in almost more of kind of like a business partner than an employee. And I don't mean that you pay them like that, but you want somebody that can come in and really take that big chunk of your business so that you can focus on other things. Now, the fourth bit of advice that I would give you is start small. A lot of people get really overwhelmed because they feel like if they're going to hire somebody, they have to start right from day one offering them like a $40,000 or $50,000 annual salary. And that's not the case. What you're going to want to do instead is work with contractors on a like per project basis, or even an hourly basis, to see how they work, see how their process is, see how easy it is to communicate with them, and make sure that they're going to be somebody that's really reliable before you ever talk about any sort of long-term commitment or annual salary. Now, by doing this, it's going to save you a lot of money, and it's even more importantly going to save you from making a bad decision. So try out a couple different contractors, give them little projects, or hire them to work for just a few hours so you can test out and see what you like in different types of individuals, different types of contractors. So then when you move towards hiring them full time, you know exactly what you're looking for, and you have a pool of people that at least somewhat understand your business. So you're not just hiring somebody blindly that then has to learn your entire business. Now, the fifth thing is you need to be willing to cut them loose and allow them to make mistakes, if that's what it's going to take, in order for them to get to a place where they understand and feel confident about what they're doing within your business. So an example of this is I had my designer and I had my project manager, both who are incredible and very capable, but I had a really hard time kind of cutting them loose and saying, you go do all of these onboarding calls, you do all of these revision calls, you deal with this frustrated client. And it was really hard for me to kind of relinquish that responsibility. But when I did, I realized that not only did they do a fine enough job, but they did a way better job than I was doing before. And so by just cutting them loose and trusting them, it was much easier for me to get comfortable with them kind of doing these things and managing these things. And also for them, it put them in a position where they weren't relying on me. And so they could say, okay, you know what? I'm leading this call. I'm going to have to figure this out. And very quickly they were able to adapt and become the people that were best suited for those different tasks and those different jobs. And finally, and most importantly, is something that I am still learning. And that is, rather than selling your contractors or employees on how much they're going to get paid and how many hours they're going to have to work, sell them on the vision. And this is another bit of advice that I got really early on in my business, was that it's going to be really hard to convince somebody to work for, $10, $15 an hour when they don't feel like they're getting anything else out of it. But if you can meet with the right people and get them on board, again, the hope is that you're going to be paying them more than just $15 an hour. But more importantly, you want to share with them your vision and showing them not only where the business could go, but also what sort of opportunities they will be presented with if they stick with the business. Help them see a really bright future, because they're going to be more willing to stick it out with you, put in extra work to help you get the business there. And so that's something that I've tried to do with my team. I'm definitely not great at it, but I want them to see that because you are some of the first ones in here with my team, I hope to take really great care of you moving forward. And so if that means promoting you from web designer to creative director, where you're managing a bunch of designers and getting paid way more, that's the vision that I have for you. I want them to understand that vision, because they're going to be much more willing to give you a shot, and there's going to be that mutual trust knowing that we both want to help one another to get to those goals. So with all of that being said, if you found any value in this video, please be sure to hit that like button down below and ask me any questions in the comments. Again, this is something that I'm not perfect at, but I'm trying to learn better how to hire the right people, how to train them, and give them a really great situation and position where they can succeed and where they can truly love their job, but also where you can love your job and you can pass off the things that you don't want to do or you're not good at, so that you can focus on different ways to grow your business. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.